Co-executive chairman of 21st Century Fox, Lachlan Murdoch, joining our own Andrew Ross Sorkin at the New York Times Dealbook conference this morning. CNBC is the exclusive broadcast partner of the event. Murdoch doesn't speak publicly very often. Let's listen in.
Obviously our employees and our colleagues within those businesses. And so the journey to sell such a large part of the business to Disney was one that took some time, and took some time for us to really think about where the industry is going, what the challenges we saw on the horizon, particularly for the entertainment part of the business, but also about where those assets could sit that would actually make them more viable and stronger than they were just with us. And so probably, say 18 months ago, we got a first phone call from a phone company who was interested. Our stock was certainly undervalued. You could see that on every spreadsheet of every media company. I think it's been reported that it was Verizon.
So Verizon calls you.
Verizon calls us and says they'd be interested in an acquisition. But this was in the midst of the Time Warner sale to AT&T. And when we thought about AT&T owning Time Warner, we didn't think Time Warner would be a better run media company. They're a very well run media company, but they weren't necessarily going to be better. They weren't going to be making better creative decisions, putting better shows on air because they were owned by a phone company. And so it was easy to say we didn't understand the strategic fit with Verizon. We didn't see our assets necessarily being stronger. But then a few months later, when Bob Iger called, we did, and we had already had this in our mind, would there ever be a time when we would sell? When Bob Iger called, we immediately saw this was actually, had made a great deal of strategic sense. And so my brother and I and my father, we sat down, we went to my father's office, and we had a long conversation about it. And we could see the entertainment assets like FX, businesses like National Geographic, obviously our IP and our movie studio, movies coming out like Avatar, these fit right in Disney's wheelhouse and will create a lot more value for shareholders with Disney than they would for us.
So your dad calls you in. What was your initial reaction? And what was James's?
Well, we knew what the conversation was about, and we talk every day, and we're all very transparent and open with each other. And I think we all agreed when we saw on paper that the assets that we would sell to Disney would do incredibly well under Disney ownership.
Was there any part of you personally that thought, you know what, I may not get to run this big empire in the future?
Your first thought is shareholders, right? Your first thought is where can we get our business and our value to the point where Disney can get it within a couple of years, right? In the same time frame as Disney. And we were honest with ourselves and we said, no, we believe in these assets, we believe in their growth, but under Disney ownership, they were stronger and made more strategic sense than under our ownership. Now, of course, Disney couldn't buy the TV network. News fit well with the network, as does Fox Sports, the national sports networks. And so we realized that having a business based on live news and live sport, obviously with a lot of entertainment as well, was an excellent position standalone business.
Did you have any idea when you first sold when the deal was first consummated, if you will, with Disney, that there would be a bidding war for these assets from Comcast later? Because one of the most remarkable things that took place to the benefit of your shareholders and family was the emergence of Comcast in all of this.
Yep. So Comcast was there in the beginning when they came to us shortly after Disney. We at the time couldn't get our heads around the regulatory risk that Comcast brought with it to acquire all of our assets, which is certainly a higher risk. Our advice was than the Disney any regulatory Disney risk. So Comcast was certainly there and was certainly showing that they were very interested. Of course, later when they came and bid very aggressively was,
Did you ever think that would happen?
I thought that our initial negotiation with Disney was very good. We were very pleased to sell the businesses to Disney, but that we could get a higher price if we could get a bidding war going. So we felt that there was more.
And what was it about? There was something about Comcast. It felt like you did not want to sell to Comcast. There were these messages that would be sent effectively in the newspapers where your father would have dinner with Bob Iger literally the day before the next bidding round.
I don't think that's true. We would absolutely have sold to Comcast. There was a very high regulatory risk around some of our assets. In the way it's ended up, which is Comcast, as you know, has ended up winning the bidding war to buy Sky, I think works very well. So,
are you disappointed about that?
No,
that outcome?
No, I think Brian. We're not we don't skin in the game anymore, right? We built Sky over many years.
You have skin in the game in Disney now.
We have
That's why
shares
I
in Disney
that.
now. But I think Brian will be a great steward of Sky, and they'll do very well.
Let me ask you, now that you are one of the largest, if not the largest shareholder in Disney, for it to work for Disney and to create an OTT service and other things to actually compete against Netflix, they're going to have to spend a lot of money. This is what Barry Diller told me just a couple weeks ago down a couple blocks from here at the Economic Club about Netflix and competing with them. He said that's Netflix, ran right in front of everybody, and they have such a lead that there is nobody that's going to compete with them at that level, ever. What do you think of that?
I think you have to look at Netflix as, well, I disagree with Barry. I think, though, you have to look at Netflix as two businesses. There's distribution business, right? And then you have to have scale in the distribution business. And then you obviously have the creative content generation that people are watching. More and more, and you need scale there as well. And so what we were seeing, and one of the reasons we sold to Disney, was that for us to have scale in a direct streaming service, whether it's an FX direct streaming service or you could bundle some of our channels together with an on-demand service, you could get to, and I think your guest before said you can get to 2 or 3 million subscribers, like CBS All Access, right? But then you get capped. You need to have the scale of 20, 22, 30, 50 million subscribers to really have enough significant scale to make that a real business.